Hello, everyone. I'm just going to make a quick video. I woke up this morning thinking about something that is just a good question. Why we couldn't settle the dilemma of slavery without all these deaths in the Civil War? Why? And because that's another thing that's going on. It's so many. We have so many fronts to fight. We're fighting inflation, we're fighting high prices, we're fighting uh, the military in the city. We're fighting against trying to be a race. We're fighting against all these firings, and we're fighting against our health care. It's so much going on, and you have to wonder why. This, you know, this country, it goes on with the saying the brave, you know, are we? And then when you have, it's just like a civil war. It really is. Because when the Civil War practically against white people, well, it's kind of like what you're seeing going on now. You seeing a bunch of uh, Caucasian people fighting other Caucasian people, and you have some little black people in there, you know, um, getting in there, and it's pretty much fighting against the same thing. But this time is, yeah, it's the same thing because they've been fighting against uh, immigrants ever since a government was formed here in this stolen land. They've been fighting the immigrants, and then they fight against black people and brown people, you know. And where we made the mistake of is fighting to sit alongside these people that hate your guts, fighting to be in their classroom, fighting to live next to them. That was our biggest mistake. We should have known, but most of us really didn't know that much. But when we did find out, we should have known that that was not the best move. We should have been fighting to have our own. Yes. Just like they had what was Black Wall Street, and then they had a lot of different black towns that was predominantly black, and they was thriving. They was making it. They was living their life. They was raising their kids. They was, you know, why we couldn't do that all over. But no, we wanted to think that they had something that we couldn't live without. The same thing, the same thing they doing, we could have did and better. We could have had our own hospitals, our own doctors, our own stores. We could have did all that and kept it simple. Not to say blacks only and all that stupid stuff, but we could have built up each other. We could have educated each other. We could have made provisions for you to go build another Liberia. I mean, all over the world. But now it's so long, we kind of like just stuck here because a lot of us just done got too old to move, and we see what we up against now. We fight now. We fighting this war again, and I'm tired of them using our words against us. DEI, woke, and now they're trying to say, "Oh, we slavery wasn't really that bad," and they really think that because a lot of them was raised in schools that taught them that a lot of black folks was really. We even heard it out of a black person's mouth, Brian Daniels, when he said that black people was really better off during Jim Crow, and they go as far as to say they was better off during slavery, because they saying that now, black people is killing each other more than the KKK now, and the family was more united during slavery. And they don't hear themselves talking. That it ain't the fact that all this stuff is true. The fact is, you people came over to us and stole us from our land and brought us over here to work for you for free. It doesn't matter if you was treating us good. You was you weren't feeding us that good, and you was never going to treat us that good. You had a lot of black people over here that just gave up and just said it is what it is. And yes, you had some black people that thought they was much better than other black people, and they the ones that you heard saying, "We sick," you know. So, um, and see with this evolution of Trumpism, it's like a countrywide Jim Jones thing, okay? Because you literally got dumb people voting for a criminal, thief, fraudster, sexual assaulter to try to make their life better. Who does that? If I'm a con man, you think I'm gonna get up there and try to make your life better? Oh my goodness. Um, and they really, and I'm telling you, we don't talk about it, but we still is in the uh, South Nation and the North Nation. They don't talk about it enough, but people are treated different. They think different between the North and the South because of their education system. Because some of those country schools and stuff down there in the South, they still they teach that the South was right, and they call us Northern Marxists. Really, the South really hate the North, and we really don't have. See, they okay with them people calling them Nazis and stuff, but really they are really Confederates in the White House that's running the White House. Um, I'm reading this book, The South Was Right, and I've been listening to it because it's giving me the knowledge of really what's going on in this country right now. You can't believe nothing is coming out their mouth because these are scientific. fraudsters. They have been waging psychological warfare for hundreds of years. They have perfected it. They always want you looking over here while they're doing this. And us black folks, we have been enthused in our appearance more than anybody, and religious people. They call that the Bible Belt. It should be a Bible rope because it is hanging a lot of people. And I heard something in this book, The South Was Right. I heard that man, well, it's, I got the audible. It said that these black people have killed more black people than they ever hung in the South. Well, for one thing, it's against the law to hang people, and more black people got guns, so it's not that easy. And also, um, so I don't know what the point was, but they always jump over the reason why these black people hate themselves and one another so much. Because of our past, and because of being raised by parents that have been oppressed for hundreds of years. And they don't care. They is they is clapping their hands. They have a website that you can go and see how many black folks been shot today. I'm reading this one book, and this is something that I found. Oh yeah, and I read something too where somebody, they always bring up, but it was the Democrats that had slaves. It was the Democrats that fought against slavery, that wanted slavery. It's the Republicans that freed them. That's what they teaching them down there. That's what they teaching some of these white kids, that all that baloney. Why did we have to fight anyway? Yeah, I know it was dead wrong to own people, to make people work for you for free, to rape and kill and lynch people, and tell people where they can go and where they can't go. Yeah, I know that was wrong. But okay, I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Uh, the Yankee Empire breaks its bargain with the occupied South. Um, I was looking at a movie yesterday too. I'm gonna have to finish it because I was about to go to sleep. I think I did go to sleep on it. Uh, the Santa Fe Trail. It's about during slavery, 1850, and where they was fighting against John Brown. We don't have no more John Browns. We don't have no more. A lot of the leaders are gone because it's too fancy out here. It's too much to do. and we've learned really people don't really, excuse me, appreciate it. Malcolm X died trying to school us and try to show us how to, improve our life, be a better person. His own people killed him. And you see black people still acting stupid. Martin Luther King Jr. died for nothing. Because we still at the bottom of the totem pole 60 years later. Uh, Fred Hampton died at 21 for nothing. Because we still stupid. We still don't have no military precision strategy or nothing going on. Frederick Douglass. And it's a lot of other ones I can't, uh, the 20th century scholars, we don't listen to them. They not going around having rallies or concerts. All we get is R&B concerts. We don't get no uh knowledgeable gatherings, rallies. Only time you get a bunch of people together to rally is some stupid protest or uh, some politician trying to get elected. Okay, what was I reading? Okay, after the South surrendered and the active phase of Reconstruction ended, there arose an unwritten but generally accepted North/South attitude of live and let live. The South would be left alone if it agreed never again to assert its right of self determination and remain loyal to the new one nation, indivisible, that was created by Lincoln and the Republican Party. But they call this the United States. But we still living in a divided country. It's not just divided by red states and blue states. It's still the South versus the North. We need to realize that. The South is trying to rise again. And if that happens, it's going to be another civil war. That's why they keep bringing it up. We describe it as North/South dignity. It's a Cold War term referring to the easing of strained relations between the Soviet Union and the United States for the common purpose of avoiding a nuclear war. Same thing. Why did you even have to fight each other? Why did you have to fight each other, other Americans? They said the Gettysburg was the bloodiest. And what was the purpose? I mean, it didn't really help anything. Black people still treated just a tad bit above slavery. And that's because of the wealth is still at the 1%. Yes, a few blacks can ease their way through there and maybe get $1 billion, but they better not be black no more. You can look black, but you better not act black. You better not help black. Even though the Southern people had a moral and legal right to self determination, post war, they exchanged that right for the privilege of being left alone. Well, I think the South is tired of this Southern patriotic allegiance to the new order was maintained even though the post war Supreme federal government created by Lincoln and the Republican Party was radically dissimilar from Americans' Americans' original constitutional limited republic of sovereign states created by the founding fathers. And see what happened was what didn't happen. The black slaves should have freed themselves. It would have been permanent. It wouldn't have been this, well, okay, we'll stop if y'all promise not to put us in prison and let us get back on the government payroll. Yes, us black people had to pay with our taxes these evil, racist, bigoted white folks that was elected. Yeah, you might have got elected in Alabama, but it was still black people paying your paycheck. To demonstrate their loyalty to the new government, generations of Southerners have pledged allegiance to one nation indivisible and sacrificed rivers of Southern blood while serving in the U.S. military in every war since Appomattox in exchange for the privilege of being left alone. Post-war Southerners abandoned the principle of the Declaration of Independence that plainly declared the alienable right of any people, which includes Southerns, to alter or abolish any government and to institute a new government that would better defend and preserve their self-evident right to govern themselves. And this is so strange where they're talking about govern themselves. And the only reason why they could make that stick or people would go for that if they act like black people wasn't 100% human, because you had black people out there and I'm sure it wasn't black people that wanted to be a slave. So the it's getting deep. It's getting deep. And if we don't really pay attention, you're going to wake up to the headline Civil War. And don't think that it can't happen, because this country, United States, they have fought many fronts. They was fighting the British and the French and the Mexicans and the Spanish and black people and fighting each other. They don't care about fighting. They love war. They got something for you. So they could be fighting right here on American soil and fighting over there across the sea and over there and fighting dumb black folks in Africa. They don't care. They don't care about your life. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop. But yeah, I would. Let me see. Start read. Start reading more. Oh, oh man! Every time I get on there, why it won't? Oh, you can't see it no way. Let me This is pretty much what they've been teaching these white people, that the South was right. In the South, they tired of these northern people making the South look bad. We treated our black people good. Yeah, I even heard in the book where it said that it was a black um, that was buried in the Confederate. He was so good that was buried in the Confederate grave site. Okay, so what? You was still dead wrong. Would you want to be a slave? Ask yourself that. Um. Oh, they got all kind of books about Hillary and all them, calling them the enemy within. These are the kind of books, they have books on both sides that you could read and um, or go to the library and just, you don't have to read the whole book, but it just gives you a sense of what you're up against, especially when it's time for the midterms and then when it's time for another presidential election. You're going to have to go up against what they are feeding these people. And I mean, you have to hear, you know, look at Fox sometime. I know it's hard to stomach, but you want to know what these people is hearing, where their mind is going. And another book, Manufacturing Consent. Social media and all these independent um, news outlets, you have to be careful because a lot of them ain't nothing but clickbaits. Uh, all they do is just go by what they heard. I don't see no inside investigating going on. And that's why we need our own black news station so we could get our own investigation going on so we can find out really what's going on and stop having to rely on these um, propagandist news channels. All right. Have a good day. Um, have fun. Take care and be brand new.